Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Amir Rashidian, and you all know this is Dr. Roberto De Sena, and I want to introduce somebody very special to you. And the reason I say he's very special is because I met him just a little while ago at the gym at One Life, and immediately we felt like we knew each other for a long time. I mean, I literally felt like I've known him forever, and I got to work out with him. And that was brutal because I didn't think I was going to get sore, but I was. So this is Deven Brady, and he is a, I don't want to call you a personal trainer because you're so much more than that,
That is
man.
the title.
But that is the title. So here's the thing. Deven is a bodybuilder, and you're going to learn more about him here in this video. You're going to find out some really cool stuff. So I want to start out by just letting him tell us where his passion came from, when did he get started, and how did he get into bodybuilding and where he is now today.
Yeah, well, thank you. First of all, it's an honor to be in such esteemed company. I appreciate the invitation and the opportunity to speak to you guys. As far as passion, mine came very easily, very effortlessly when I was young. I had the benefit of having a father who's also a very proud member and client of this practice, who led by example. You know, I mean, my father was very physically advanced. You know, the old adage is for especially young grade school kids is the old "my dad can beat up your dad" argument. You know, for me, it was something that was very real. You know, I lived it and breathed it. Obviously, my dad isn't a fighter, but at the same time, he had a presence, a physical presence to him as a result of his physical fitness that I took a lot of pride in, because a lot of people, my friends and my colleagues, came to me and they're like, "Wow, is that your dad? Your dad's huge." Like, you know, my dad was a superhero, you know, larger than life to me as a young man, very impressionable age. And it just instilled in me the foundation and the understanding that there wasn't any facet of my being that didn't need to be advanced, that didn't need to be explored, honed, sharpened. And by that I mean the ability to speak and communicate, mental astuteness, and physical advancement. It was all part of a holistic approach to being a complete person, you know, and he didn't do that. He did it by example. He didn't preach about it, he just showed it. And physical fitness and activity was always such a part of his life, and it was so effortless that it became really important to me over time, you know. So I wanted to lead a life that was, you know, advanced in my physical pursuits, and hopefully in a way that I can impact people and inspire and motivate that allow it to be important in their lives as well.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Well, we're big fans of your dad as well.
Yeah, definitely. How do you think that you best implement that into being able to train clients now, and how does that help you along?
Yeah, so it's been a pretty interesting approach for me. Again, I'm fairly new, so I'm kind of exploring my own way in this field, you know. One of the reasons why I think, Dr. Amir, why you and I got along so well so quickly is that we're both foundationally kind of against the grain. That's right. Outside of the box thinkers. You know, when I try to train somebody, I don't try to train by number, I don't try to train by design. So what that means for me and my philosophy is, whether I get to interact with you for 5 minutes or 5 hours, there needs to be impact. There needs to be value, it needs to be immediate, and it needs to be felt. So what that means, and also additionally to that, it's care first, which I know is also something that resonates with you guys well. And what that means is you need to feel the value, and you need to learn things and be instilled and empowered with knowledge and ability such that you can take it and do things on your own that will allow you to advance at your own pace and in order to meet your own goals. You know, what I have is not a one-size-fits-all philosophy, but what it is a basic understanding of principles that, when applied appropriately, will allow you to meet a multitude of goals. So when I train individuals now, basically I look at what they've done, I look at what they're used to doing, I look at what works and what doesn't. Understanding the challenges and pitfalls will inevitably be part of the process. So knowing that, again, I'm not trying to sell a miracle cure, I'm not trying to sell a tonic of any kind, but rather instill in people the knowledge that hard work, you know, will pay dividends over time. Yeah. So, you know, it's really wonderful for me to work with the younger generation clients when I can, because I feel like a lot of them are being told that you know, things can happen quickly, things can happen overnight, you know, if X, then Y, but rather it's part of a process, you know, and it's going to take time, and it's a discipline just like any other discipline that needs to be worked time and time again until it comes to fruition.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we hear that so much, where like nowadays everyone says, work smart, not hard. And I go, wait a minute, but the smart thing to do is work hard. You know, and this is the age of like biohacking and synthetic drugs and overnight miracle cures and results and all that stuff and the, you know, bodybuilding today. Like I don't know if I want to look like today's Mr. Olympia.
Sure.
Unfortunately, you know, but I used to look up to Mr. Olympia quite a bit. In fact, you had some experience with a former Mr. Olympia, right?
That's correct.
Oh my gosh, tell us about that.
Yeah.
That is really neat.
So again, you know, kind of in line with what we were talking about is, you know, people that I idolize in my own sport are people that, like myself, like yourself, have gone against the grain. So, you know, we were talking about an era in my sport that most people believe were ushered in by Arnold Schwarzenegger, in which size was going to reign supreme, right? So people wanted to get bigger and bigger, and the problem is that marginalized the sport more and more from the public eye, right? Because it started to get too freaky, and it started to scare people as opposed to being something that people wanted to emulate and admire. So my idol in the sport, if I had to pick just one, would be Frank Zane, right? Who came in a time after Arnold, in which he won all 3 of his titles at under 200 pounds. Which was, again, against the grain, right? So he showed that there was something to be said for the artistry and the symmetry and the presentation and the sculpture of the sport. It wasn't all about, you know, a mass-based freak show, for lack of a better word, of that shock appeal that they were going for. But rather, you know, he wanted to treat his body like a project, like a sculpture. You know, I use the artist's term intentionally. So I actually had the opportunity as of last year to fly out to San Diego and sit down with Frank Zane one-on-one for 3 days at his home in San Diego. I got to meet him. I got to, you know, pick his brain and absorb as much information as I could, and it was, you know, life-changing. You know, again, it would be a topic for another more in-depth conversation. But what I learned from him, the words of wisdom, you know, that I was able to take from that meeting was nothing short of life-changing, I think.
That's great. Yeah, definitely. That's fantastic. I mean, if, you know, looking at that or hearing that, I'm going, if you can't sit down and talk to Arnold Schwarzenegger or Frank Zane or Franco Colombo or, you know, some of those old school bodybuilders, then this guy's the next best thing, right? Because he was there with them, training with them, learn exactly. And I mean, it's almost like, you know, would you like to learn how to shoot from Michael Jordan or from Kobe. Like Kobe Bryant? Or I wasn't going to name Kobe. He's a Lakers fan. Gotcha. There you go. So, he's a Laker too now.
I know. Lakers.
Dwayne Wade.
There you go.
Somebody. Is there anybody on the Wizards that we look up to? But anyways, or you know, learn how to throw a football from Tom Brady or Joe Montana or John Elway. You know, some of the greats, some of the accurate passers. This is it. So that's one of the reasons we want him here to talk to you. We wanted you introduced to him is because of that. Is because he's got knowledge beyond. You know, and we were kind of talking about what really makes you different. I think that's it.
Yeah.
So before we get off the phone, get off the video. We're using a phone to video. So before we get off the phone, I want you to give him some value. Like what is like a piece of advice? But we don't want to give you guys too much because we don't want you to overdo it. But we're gonna give you a piece of advice, something you can start doing, put on the ground now, and start getting results. And then we'll do more videos and give you more information.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, so for those of you inspired, you know, who feel the need or motivation after watching this to start to put a plan into action. You know, I understand that a lot of you watching at home perhaps are a little bit intimidated by taking that first step. So what I did was I talked to my team over at One Life South Frederick, and what we've done is we're going to extend to any viewer of this particular video, anyone so inclined, to start their own personal fitness journey, effectively a free 7-day pass. So full use of our club and our facilities, again over at South Frederick on Buckystown Pike. Just come over, and all you simply have to do is mention that you've seen the video, you've seen this initial discussion, you're interested in more, and you're interested in starting your own fitness journey. And basically what that's going to do is give you a free 7-day pass. Again, no risk, no commitment, full 7 days to go ahead and get started. Talk to me, talk to my team, talk to anybody and everybody that you think can help to facilitate your journey and to be as successful as possible. So that is available to any viewer of this video free of charge.
And they're not allowed to make fun of me if they see me working out next to them, right?
Or next to him.
All right.
Yes, that's in the fine print.
But that's a great gift, and we really appreciate that. I know our viewers appreciate that. So we're going to get back on and do another video for you in just a little bit, so be on the lookout for that. Thank you very much for joining us, and please take advantage of that 7 days, because it'll change your life.